Go.
Yeah, sure.
Here we go. I
look
am
at us.
starting. Hello and welcome to the Wylders game.
Yay!
Here's everybody.
Are we still on starting soon? Oh, weird.
It just takes a little delay and
Okay,
it will
okay,
come up. So, we're kind of checking our own stream as we do this. If you haven't seen the Wylders game before, my name's Dave Wildson. I am the game master, and this is a game we play a D&D style game, but we use a lot of Pathfinder rules, old school stuff, and it's a homebrew. So we've been playing it now for 3 years almost.
Coming up 3 years in April,
But we've only been streaming it since last April. We stream onto Twitch and YouTube, and we're going to go around and say hellos and do intros with the players around the table along with me, and then I'm going to do a real quick review, and we're going to get rolling to do the play. So here is Mr. Thaddeus Poindexter. Hello.
Hello, my name is Ian Little, and I'm playing the part of Thaddeus Poindexter, backwoods physician,
That's right. And
nothing else.
And don't believe him. That's not true. Might be something else. I gotta straighten my camera here. I think that's a little
He's
better.
not sneaky whatsoever.
Yeah, he's not sneaky at all. He doesn't have lockpicks and stiletto knives and other roguish deals. Okay, so let's go on to...
I'm here to attest that he is pure as the driven snow.
He's got his keys. He's got his keys.
Oh, wow.
How about you, Miss Josephine? Hello.
Oh, hello. Hi, my name is Josephine Smith. I am the sharpest shooter. I'm gosh, now I'm
Gunslinger?
Gunslinger.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm a gunslinger. I am really not very kind to people who are unkind to my crew. I have a companion who is a 6 foot tall dire wolf named Bear. He is this big and he lets me ride him. And I am a half elf with kind of weird abilities like befriending animals, which I just wanted to say something really quickly. I have a knack for befriending animals, and as Amanda, as the human here in Aerra,
In our house?
in this house, I joined a dating app this past week, you guys.
You joined a dating app.
A dating app.
Oh my God.
I know. I like, but no word of a lie. The first person that I clicked with is, let's see if this shows up on camera.
Okay, hold on. Let's go to you real close. You clicked with a possum?
I bonded with a possum.
There she is.
Look how crazy that is.
Those elves, they love all the animals.
It's just the weirdest thing. Thanks, Aerra, for invading my personal life. Anyways, on to Lavinia.
Oh my, oh my, oh my.
Hello, Lavinia.
In real life, that person is my daughter.
You mean Amanda's your daughter, not the possum. Gotcha. Okay.
That was a dangling participle if I've ever
That
heard
was
one.
a dangling possum.
A
Anyways,
dangling participle.
So who are you? She's your daughter and I'm your husband.
yes, I am.
Your name
You
is
are.
Janice and you play Lavinia Rose, and
Let me
who
go
is
ahead.
that?
Okay, let me go ahead and tell you all about it. My name is Lavinia Rose. I am the healer of the group. However,
One of the healers.
one of the healers.
pardon me,
The medical man over here wants
I work in conjunction with he who is pure as the driven snow.
Yeah. Your mic is kind of right in front of you. You might want to swing it just to the side a little bit. Yeah,
That better?
that's better.
Okay, so let's keep on going. Anyways, I just wanted to tell you that my primary function is healing. However, I will do anything, and I mean anything, to defend this group of people who are my family.
Ooh, is that a challenge to the game master? I guess we'll find out.
Perhaps I should not have spoken. However, it's true.
Okay.
Also,
Yes.
my grandmother, in a I will show you her later, but my grandmother's spirit was cast into a skull by the evil warlock Yago.
The evil warlock, Yago.
So we have some issues around that.
That's the main goal of your current overall story mission, is to defeat Yago. That's the mission that you were given when you were pulled to this world by R1, Lord of the Shadow Realm, is to slap him around, beat him up, make him dead. He's not even undead. Yago is the warlock that's not undead. He is, but you're going to make him dead. Dead. We'll see. If you ever get there. We're going to talk more about that tonight, because you're on the main quest line again instead of any of our side sandbox things. Okay, let's go on to Percy. Mr. Redfeather, hello.
Percival Redfeather, played by Robert Woodbury, and I am a ranger, a hunter, a fine bowman, but do not mess with me too much, because you wouldn't like me when I'm angry. I turn into a dreadful, weird tiger and attack with the force of 2 times my normal strength.
How did you end up becoming a weird tiger, Mr. Redfeather?
I picked up some random piece of mask at a pile of treasure, and just out of stupidity, put it on my face and turned into a weird tiger and had an epic battle in the spirit world with the spirit of the weird tiger. And then the master of darkness came to my aid and helped me vanquish his spirit. And now I have some control over it when I get into a battle situation, but not completely.
That's right, because you're stuck with that weird disease.
Mm-hmm.
You just picked it up you can see in the image, the tiger mask that he wears when he becomes a weird tiger. It's on the wall. Right there.
And he has arms long enough to just pluck it off the wall.
And because Rob is a Sasquatch in real life, he can just reach all the way across the whole damn room.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right, okay. So
No
let's go on.
apologies.
No, that's good.
It's like,
Who else are we going to get to change light bulbs around here if we don't have you
Right.
showing up? Here is our resident wizard. Hello, sir.
Hello, I'm Raven Alexium. I'm Glen the Valley in my regular days, and I play the Squishy Wizard. And I have a relationship with my familiar Drema.
Hi, Drema.
We're very
Could you explain to the rest of the world what squishy wizard actually means?
It means that I die easily, but I'm useful. That's what it means.
That means that he can't take too many hits. In the old gaming, it's known as a glass cannon. Most wizards and casters are glass cannons. They can blow the hell out of something, but they can't take too many hits before they go down.
Yeah, he ends up saving our asses more than any of the rest of us, really.
Very useful to have around.
Very
Handy.
useful.
He's very handy.
Yep.
He also brings food. In real life, he brings food to our house. He's
And
the
we're
snack
not
master.
referring to the raven on his shoulder.
I am the game master for the game, and Amanda is the chat master for the game, and Glenn, who plays Raven, is the snack master.
Yes, I'm also a alchemist in this game too. So
And what did you alchematize up for us today? What are we going to eat on our break?
today was keto-friendly chips with guacamole.
Yum,
Cool,
yum,
eh?
yum. I'm so excited.
Pretty awesome.
I do want to say, as
Yes.
the chat master, shout out hello to Brother Silver and to Sugar. We love you guys. Thank you so much for joining.
Where do they normally
They're in our
live
chat
when
right
they're
now.
not here?
So Brother Silver lives in Ontario,
Okay,
and Sugar lives in Ohio.
there we go.
WKRP in Cincinnati, Chicago area.
Oh. Hey, if you can just lower and put your mic to the side a little bit, it's right in the middle of the screen a little bit.
How's that one?
That's
How's
better.
that?
That's better.
Okay.
Yep.
And you can still hear
Also,
me
I want to
properly?
check, Percy, how's your camera? That's not too bad, but maybe tip it up just a little bit. I adjusted your camera, and so you might want to just tip it up because we don't want to get cut off. You happy with that? That looks good.
More hats.
What about
I
Raven?
am
Less
tall.
torso.
Raven, you might want to turn yours over to your left just a little bit. Twist your camera to your left just a little bit. That's good enough. All right, we're good. Good to go. You know who he reminds me of when he wears that mustache? He reminds me, that's a Wyatt Earp mustache if I've ever seen one right there. Okay, so on to
It has crunchy things in it too.
the game. It's got,
Pretty gross.
has it got dust in it right now?
I
Or
don't know. Some weird
yesterday's soup?
Snacks you keep for later.
So
You
we're
guys are
going
very
to
critical.
go do a quick review of the game. For those of you that forget, we played 2 weeks ago, and you had left the home of Quilius Quacksalver, the reclusive hermit wizard, who is going to be one of your main contacts in this area. You are in the Feywood, which is basically the center of the land, of the home of all of the different types of fey creatures: fairy, the wild fey, and the elves. You are traveling to the south end of Feywood to try and take the Elven Queen a message mirror. You don't know what the message is that's in the mirror, but you had rescued and saved a little pixie who subsequently passed away from her undead disease.
Can we
and
show her?
I'll go get her. Hold on.
Precious pixie.
Oh no! She lost a
No,
wing.
no.
She lost a wing. Hold on, let me see if I can figure this out.
There's a flap.
There's two little pokey things that go in there. Can I get it? I'm wasting too much time. Here, I'm going to give it to Rob. He's good at stuff like this.
But anyways,
Model
she
master.
she passed because she got bitten by an undead, a soldiering undead, and
All right, hold up your camera. Everybody will be able to see it. I'll switch over to Percy. There is...
we all
The little pixie?
legitimately cried. Cried. We
Yes.
had a funeral and everything and sang. It was very sad, very sad.
And she had to be cremated on a pixie pyre so that she did not rise as one of the undead. Because you're battling the soldiering dead, which are basically raised by a Yago and brought to this world. Okay, do you guys want me to put that someplace here? Let me put this right here. This thing's fairly delicate, this beautiful statue. So
Sorry for asking you to get it down. Just
that's all right. So, going back to where we were talking about, you have been traveling southward from Quilius's, and you are about half a day outside, maybe a little bit more outside Elphame. Elphame is the elvish settlement, home of the Elven Queen, and it is a settlement of elvish dwellings that are clustered around the base of the great world tree that basically all of Feywood is a magical fairy forest because of this world tree. The name of that world tree is Galadrisil. And here is, I'm going to go to our adventure screen. You can see, here's our map of the Feywood. And I should try and put on this map maybe your travels, the different places you've gone. But right now you can see we use this little marker of this skull, which is Abuelita's skull for your group as the party. And here is the scene that you see from your current campsite. Hey, that worked. Did it show up on the back screen
Not on the
too?
back screen.
I shall make it go on the back screen. So there's your scene. You can see Galadrisil in the distance, the Great World Tree.
That is so cool.
oh, we're so close.
And yeah, you're
Just a
probably
few
about half a
kilometers.
day away. You can't see any of the Elvish settlement, which is actually mostly on the southern side of the tree anyways, the opposite side of the tree from you. But there you go. That is an image of Galadrisil, the world tree. Now, these are instructions and background on the world that you got from Quilius Quacksalver. One of the other things that Quilius told you, and I didn't cover it, and I should have, I forgot at the time. One of the other things that Quilius told you is that this is not the only world tree. There was a world tree, the mother of this tree, that was originally in the northern lands of the eastern lands, but it came under attack and it was destroyed as the Aesir Vikings ended up leaving that Norseland and moved to the Western lands. And a seedling of it was saved by Ellara, brought here, planted, and that's how the Feywood came to grow in the Western lands centuries ago. Okay. You guys had finished camping. We had done the camping for the night, if I recall correctly, and that's where we stopped the game last time, 2 weeks ago, correct?
Yes,
I read about that?
I seem to think there was something about. It sounded like there were some people approaching us, or
Were there?
might have been.
Ooh, I don't remember.
That was my impression. Leaving it on a cliffhanger.
We
It was just
we
about to have
left
an
out. We
encounter
left
of some
out
sort.
without encounter. Yes.
Yes, there was about to be an encounter.
There was. The game master has now decided there's not going to be an encounter because I don't remember that, and I didn't make an encounter together. Didn't put
There
one
definitely
together.
was a dun dun dun, but to be honest,
Did I leave
I
a
was trying to
cliffhanger?
watch.
I don't remember
I
that.
don't remember that.
I should have. I guess this is why we like to watch our old recordings when we take a break for a couple of weeks so that we know what the hell's coming next.
I tried to watch it earlier, and I ended up crashing out and having a nap instead. So I didn't watch.
And that's not to say anything against the quality
No.
of how it went, but sometimes, naps are like
Oh, yeah.
the most important thing.
I work evenings, and then I can't sleep at night. So yeah. Anyways,
Okay, so I'm going to say that right now it is 9 a.m. in the morning. You are all fully rested. You should have all of your health points back, all of your slots for your magic tokens, for your magic spells and those kinds of various things. You are trekking south. You have not seen a lot of people on your path towards the south. Most of them have avoided you and gone off to the right or to the left. I do remember you did hear some passing pixies singing a song about the High Hob. And if you want to know the story of the High Hob, you look up the Monty videos because Monty is the one that tells the story of Moore's the High Hob. Okay, so what do you want to do? Are you going to continue to head south? You've got kind of a decision. You want to go around Elphame and avoid it, or do you want to go through it?
Like, that's what we were trying to decide, whether we wanted to go into
I
the
think
center of it.
directly to Elphame, although we have been warned that the Elf Queen may not be there and is probably
She's probably on the front lines.
She's on the front lines.
Which are the very southern border of the whole Feywood.
And so do we need to put the Pixie's box of belongings directly into the Elf Queen's hands, or may we drop it off to someone in trust?
I put it
Trust
in her,
anybody.
In her
hand.
hands.
No.
Okay.
In her hands.
You also have a letter from Quilius
Right.
as basically a passage letter to a message to the Queen. And by the way, Silva, the Pink Captain, I see your test in chat, just so you know that it showed up.
No, was something not working?
I don't know. Maybe his chat didn't work. He
So-
paints while he watches.
So
Awesome.
guys, he does, yes. And you guys, I've shown you his figurines. He does
Yeah.
great work.
He really
Yeah.
does.
You and him should chat sometime. I'm sure they can exchange painting stories. However, I want to ask you guys, should we go directly to the tree and just maybe see if we can figure out more about what we should expect going forward, maybe, and acquaint ourselves? Or
I'm a little worried that we're going to get sidetracked by some, band
Side
of
I agree.
pixies or
quest.
something in the middle of this whole
So
thing.
we can still go around the tree and
Yeah.
go to her. There's nothing that says we can't come back.
Come
to-
back.
Yeah, we can always come back
Good
later.
point. Yeah.
yeah, and that's why I'm saying, like, what should we do? Choose your own adventure.
I'd say we do the anti-ADH thing and go to the point where we're supposed to go.
The issue that you have is that the road goes directly through Elphame and to the south through this valley that you see. The problem that you have if you deviate is that all of a sudden you're in the middle of the forest that you don't have
So
any
that's
other
kind of our answer. then, isn't it?
navigation.
Okay, guys. I think that kind of answers it for us. Terrain dictates.
It's not like I'm driving you, but as I was thinking about it, There's only one path in this valley, right? I mean, that's not true. I shouldn't say that. There are other branches, but they all come straight to the tree. There's one that goes to the east. There's one that goes to the west. There's one that goes to the south. Makes sense? So assuming you're going to travel south, you find you're all packed up. You're ready to go. Are you leaving camp?
Yep.
Packing camp? Assuming you're packing camp and you head south, as you travel, we roll my Christmas present. Rob, did you give this to me?
I gave it.
I did know that. So we did a gift exchange at Christmas time for all of us as players, and this is what I got from Percy Redfeather.
So
Isn't
if
that
he gets
fun?
really mad at us, he can hurl it at our heads.
So we're going to now roll this onto. Hold on, where's my room camera?
Well, it shouldn't hurt on the TV.
That's what my plan
Yeah.
is.
Just
Here we go.
maybe roll it
Just-
gently.
All right,
and
I'm gonna
not-
roll it.
Don't
We're
be
gonna
so
see
vicious,
if
yeah.
you encounter anything. Here we go. Oh,
Is that
oh
an
no,
That's a
no,
19.
it's cockeyed. Roll it again. Roll it again. Good. Okay,
15?
there we go. Table map. What is it? What does it say?
15.
15. 15 means you do not encounter anything.
Okay.
All right, good. That's fun. We're totally going to use that thing some more.
so fun.
I love that.
That's so dramatic.
It is very
I
dramatic.
feel like we're on a game show. Wait.
I've got to think up different scenarios to roll it and figure out what the numbers are going to be for and stuff like that when I get my act together. I'm a little distracted tonight because I'm still in a health situation where it is 6 days till my surgery and I get these stents out. I'm going to be very happy about that because then I can heal up and maybe I'll be able to focus more on stuff like this because I have no focus right now, you guys. I've come up with stuff for tonight. No guarantees beyond this. So as you go down
Hey, tonight.
to the, I should be talking into the Wylders Bunch screen. As you go down, you do not encounter anything, and it's only a half a day's walk. You find no problem getting there. However, once you are not that far away from the tree, I'm going to say a league away from the tree, something kind of like a half a mile, that kind of thing.
Isn't a league 7 kilometers?
I don't remember. As you get closer to the tree, all of a sudden, just apparently appearing out of nowhere, there is a band of elven archers that come from the sides of the path and stand before you with their bows cocked, I guess you could say. Their bows drawn, several of them, and the one in the center addresses you and basically says, "Halt, who goes there?"
I speak in perfect Elvish. We are friends. Come to see the queen of the elves, but you can also speak that, right?
He
well,
cannot speak Elvish.
No, I don't speak Elvish.
Okay.
Since when do you speak perfect Elvish?
Why does Percy speak Elvish? He will remind us.
Because I have this wondrous ring, which allows me to, for a day, speak whatever language of my choosing, and it adds 1 point to my persuasion ability.
Oh, look at you.
Remember, it
Please?
was one of the gifts
Yes,
that he
yes.
received. It was a gift from Quilius. What was the name of the ring? I forget what the ring was called.
Not sure.
But anyways, he's got a ring now that lets him select one language at the beginning of every day, and he can read and speak it.
Good choice on the Elvish.
Yeah.
Do
Okay.
you have the letter of introduction?
Do I have the letter of introduction?
I believe actually Thaddeus has the letter of
You can have
introduction.
To you.
introduction. I shall give it. We have a letter of introduction from Quilius Quacksilver, and we are on an important mission to the Queen of Elfland.
Okay, so the leader of the Elven Patrol walks up, takes the letter from you, looks at it, immediately recognizes that it's from Quilius because of all the flourish that he puts on it, opens it up, scans it very briefly, looks at you, looks at the letter, and says, "Very well. We don't have the manpower to accompany you or send you an escort, but we will send you on your way and we will escort you through the town."
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
you.
so much, my friend.
The elves don't have a lot to say to you, probably because the game master didn't prepare a lot of Elphame material. The whole plan was to try and get you to the Elven Queen, and so you're more interested in passing through town. But as you get closer to town and you come kind of on a slight hill around the side of the Great World Tree, you get to see part of the settlement that is
That's beautiful.
basically built up around the base of the World Tree.
It reminds me of, oh gosh, where is it in like Revelstoke? The forest
Is
in
an
Revelstoke?
enchanted forest.
Enchanted
Yeah.
forest.
The Enchanted Forest.
Mhm.
I used to go to the Enchanted Forest when I was like, 11 years old. When Grandpa took us on a camping trip through British Columbia, and we stopped at the Enchanted
And it's
Forest.
so special.
So did
And-
we as adults.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My parents would never let us go.
Oh, really?
No.
I took my
Tourist
girls
trap.
there when they were like, I want to say 5 and 6 years old or something like that. They were little. And we turned around and all of a sudden Cora had taken off.
Huh.
And she was like up a tree. It was
Oh, really?
One of those weird
I
winding
mean, and that's a
staircases up tree. It
heavily
was just
overgrown forest right there, too.
like, where did the child go? And she's like way up there. Oh gosh.
So for people in the States, British Columbia, which is our westernmost province is a state, westernmost province.
Just on top of Washington.
Yeah, just above Washington, north
Yeah,
of
like
Washington.
like you go California, Oregon, Washington. It's like the rainforest.
If
area.
you're heading west to the coast, you got to go through the Rocky Mountains and the Cascade Mountains, and they're very, very high. And so through the valleys and the passes along the main Trans-Canada Highway that heads east to west, there is this tourist trap called the Enchanted Forest. And I mean tourist trap in a good way, because it's totally a tourist trap, but it's the right kind of tourist trap. You pull in
So
to the
special.
parking lot, you pay an admission, and you go into this magical forest where there's all kinds of little figurines and statues and little structures and all kinds of cool
all based off
fairy
of
stuff.
fairy tales.
fairy tales. That's
Yeah, like fairy tale stories, and like you
Yeah.
can go through like the different stories as you adventure through this park.
So this reminds you of the Enchanted Forest. That's
Sorry, but yes.
all right. Unfortunately, in this image, there's no pictures of elves for scale. Thank you, AI, for not doing what I want you to. But all of these buildings are like man high. Okay, like they're not little tiny buildings at the base of a regular tree. They're huge buildings, like normal size buildings, 2, 3, 4 stories in height, at the base of a massive world tree for scale. And you don't see many elves around. There are a few that give you kind of a curious look as you're passing along the road. The fact that you're escorted by the soldiers, but you're clearly not in the custody of the patrol, means that they've got other business to do. So in better times, they were used to seeing more travelers pass through Elphame. These days, they're few, and of course, it's because of the war to the south of you. So you stop in Elphame briefly to have your lunch, your midday repast. Is there any questions that you want right now to ask? This will be your last opportunity, probably, a second to last opportunity, really, to ask the elf captain, any questions you have through your translator, Percy. What's your questions?
Have you been down there? What is it like? What can we expect?
Okay, so as Percy asks the
Okay,
Elvish
okay.
captain, whose name is Alvadu, he asks him, what is it like in the south? The captain says the reports are sketchy coming back from the Elvish host. There have been several major battles. There have been a number of elves lost, and to their horror, they discovered afterwards, after the first couple of battles, that those elves came back as part of the host attacking them as undead. And so now, as a result of that, anyone who falls in battle, the bodies are always reclaimed and always burned before sunset because of the
Rightly
terrible
so.
disease, the undead soldiers' terrible disease.
Yeah.
So I assume you recount to him part of your own experience
Yes.
with the pixie about
pixie.
this.
Yeah.
He's very somber about it. He translates to the rest of his patrol, and they all have very stern faces, and they nod in understanding. And they've got a little bit more respect for you and a little bit more ease now that they understand that you are also dealing with that as basically a common ally. You
Yeah,
got a
we're here
question?
as a force for good.
I see that the path that goes southward from here forks off, one to the right and one to the left.
Right.
Which one do we take?
Which path should we take?
All right,
So,
let's have a look at the map so that people have got a frame of reference for what we're talking about. And I'm going to go to the adventure screen so you can have a look. So what you're talking about is right here on the map at the base of Elphame.
I'm thinking we would take the right path. As we're coming out of Elphame, we would go to the right. Yeah.
Alvadu, the captain of the elves, tells you that it is the path that goes southernmost
Okay.
to the west of Findletug that will lead you straight to the southern border.
It looks like there's another fork just obscured by a big tree there.
Down here.
A little farther north. Yeah,
That one?
right there. Yeah.
There is a fork that goes to Findletug,
Yes. And we go south.
and you go south from there. There's also the what is known as the southwestern path that goes past the two statues and heads out. Originally, this was the path that was most commonly used in better times that would head down to the southern coast to the city that is now part of the Blood Coast. And I can't remember what the name of the city is. I'll have to look it up for you. I can't just pull it out of my head right now, but it is now the center of Yago's small undead empire. So yes, you'll head straight south from there.
And take the left path.
Thank you.
And you were cautioned by Quilius. The captain, the elf captain, says nothing to you about this, but you were cautioned by Quilius to probably avoid Findletug because there's a small town-sized civil war right now. I mean, it's not a violent civil war, but it is a town-sized civil war in Findletug between the various gnomes that live there, the brownies and the blackies.
It's a silly place.
Okay, so don't cross over to the left of the forest on our way down. Is
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
what
just
I'm
do
reading?
Just
Findletug.
Keep going south.
Yeah.
You-
Keep going south.
If you want to later on, you can visit Findletug and see if you can help them with their domestic problems. But right now, if you want to make it to the Queen without another side quest sidetracking us for a month, stay out of Findletug.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't mind the side quests, but yeah, like our whole journey has been side quests.
Well, that's it. I wanted it to be a sandbox world where you could do things, but at the same time, you got to continue on with
Yeah.
the actual mission from time to time.
Yeah, we do.
You break lunch. Any other questions before you break for
Can
traveling
we
again?
acquire any rations here? Would there be a possibility of acquiring some, food for the road that we can use later?
All right. So as you ask, I will do the captain this. He looks at you and says, most of what we have for travel rations has been sent already to the southern host.
Okay.
But I'll see what I can do. And
Right.
he rattles off a quick command to one of to his second in command, who heads into the town of Elphame, and
Did
is
we
gone
not
for
stock
about
up
half
at
an hour.
QQ's?
You did not stock up at QQ's. That's something we didn't talk about.
Oh.
Quilius didn't have a
Quilius
lot of
gave us
rations to
gifts.
sell you.
Oh,
He
okay.
gave you
gave us
gifts,
gifts.
but that was it.
Yeah. Yeah.
About a half hour later, the second in command returns with a backpack on his back. It's a wicker woven backpack, green wicker woven backpack. He comes to you, basically slings it off his shoulder and hands it straight to Percy. And it is full of these leaf closed
The elven
little
bread.
biscuits.
Lembas.
From like
Lembas
Lord of
bread.
the Rings, the elven bread.
That's called lembas.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, it was called at Lembas in Lord of the Rings. This stuff doesn't taste quite that good.
Okay.
But they're honey cakes, is what they are. They're honey cakes.
That
So
was
he's
lovely of them.
he is giving you. He said, "This is the best that we could do for you. In other days, we would have far more hospitality than this for you, but during
So
wartime,
Thank you.
this should last you quite a while. Just one of these honey cakes is a full ration for one day for one person. You'll find that there, as Percy takes the wicker basket pack, as he takes the wicker pack, he is very surprised to find out that it's quite light. These cakes are extremely light. If it was human-made cakes put in a wicker pack basket, it would probably weigh 4 times that. So it's very easy to distribute, and you guys can decide how you're going to distribute. What do you want to do with it?
Well,
Bag of holding,
bag holding,
or just like a couple each.
Well,
to
that's
have
what I'm
on.
thinking. Give us each a couple for the road, and then the rest go in the bag of holding.
I agree
Okay,
with this,
so you guys
everyone.
have rations in your inventory on your Foundry program. You can just add those extra rations if you wish to. Also, other questions about inventory, send me notes. Put them in our little chat that we have. And if you remind me there, I will use that as a to-do list to update your inventories for other things that the Game Master might owe you right now. Okay? But I won't remember unless you tell me. So as you think of it, post those notes for me.
Sorry. So each one of these cakes is how many rations?
1 day's ration is a cake.
And how many do we each get?
As you open up the wicker pack and you start distributing them, there are roughly 40 of them in this pack.
Nice. So
10 days rations each.
So 10. Put 30 in the bag of holding, and we each have 2.
I'm going to adjust that 50 of them in the pack because that's 10 days rations each,
Okay.
which is kind of a standard that's what they'd plan to give you.
Yeah. So I'll give
We are
2
so
each, and the
grateful
remainder can go in the
to
bag.
our elven
in the bag.
brethren.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else before you wish to
Well, I
travel
wish to
south?
say my humble gratitude for you for this
Yes.
amazing gift, and someday we may break bread with you as brothers.
He says, if you survive, I hope that we'll meet again, that you come back to visit Elphame, and we can show you the Feywood as it is meant to be. These are dark days ahead of us. We'll see what happens once the war is over.
We will do our best to vanquish the foe.
Raven had a question though.
Yes,
I do.
Raven.
Yes, I understand that fire is not accepted in the Feywood. However, being that we're fighting the undead here, would you allow fire spells to be used against that particular enemy in your boundaries?
The captain thinks about it for a moment and he says, that is not for me to decide. That is for the queen to decide. But I will say this. So far, fire has not, the enemy's fire, as they've been using it to burn forests to the south of us, has not actually crossed in our magical barrier into the Feywood. If you find yourselves in a battle within the Feywood where that fire has crossed in and it is present, then there is no loss from any other fire that you may cast because you're already in a charred battleground area.
And any necessary pyres within this area would be allowed, obviously.
Right
to-
now, all of the pyres
the disease?
are being done at the border,
Okay.
right at the border where the elf host is. They are literally just on the southern side of the great magical barrier that the Fey Queen has cast.
How many days walk is this barrier from us?
He looks at it and he says, you probably are looking at another 5 days travel, maybe 6,
Okay.
Okay.
depending on weather and that kind of thing. From here, he says, usually it's 2 days to Findletug, and you're going to be 3 to 4 days south of that.
Is it possible to pass Findletug without going through it?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
because
Oh, yeah.
because as you travel the main south road, the fork that goes off to Findletug is a full half day's travel to Findletug from the main road that heads north and south.
Go to
We'd have to deliberately go.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes. Gracias, señor.
Is there any message that you would like us to take to the Queen from you?
He lights, his eyes light up, and he's like, "Thank you for reminding me." And he quickly refers to his second in command again, and out of their gear, they pull out a packet of letters. He says, "These are for the troops in the south. We're planning on sending them later today, but since you're going down, you can take them."
Our pleasure.
I'm happy to do that.
Anything else?
Is there anything that you can think of that we have not asked you that you would like to tell us?
Wow. What a meta question.
I know. I love it. I love it.
Total meta question.
He thinks for a moment. He gets a very strange look on his face, raises one cocked eyebrow, and says, "No, thank you anyways."
Thank you.
We're going to leave you here because our responsibility is to stay and protect the town of Elphame with our lives if necessary. But we believe that if things go so badly awry that we are trying to defend the town, either we will not be alone or all hope is lost anyways. One other thing I will caution you about, and that is beware the wild fae, because they are natural creatures. Do not go out of your way to harm them, and try and go out of your way to avoid a few of them that may find themselves hostile to you for just natural reasons, because they're natural creatures. So, don't be going up and trying to pet a stag lord or something stupid like that. You might get poked by the antlers.
I'm sorry. No.
We're watching you.
Percy points at Josephine.
I love all the animals.
So, as you depart and head south, you see more of the same fairy forest as you've seen in the scenes that we've talked about. You continue south, and you've got half a day left before it's going to get dark. And we're going to find out if anything happens. It only happens if we roll one. Are you ready? Here we go.
On?
Only happens if we roll a 1.
Only happens if you roll a 1 that something happens. Ready?
7.
7. Okay.
Oh, it looks like a 1 from here.
I know. I thought it was a 1 too from my seat. Fine.
Do we have
Okay.
the timer on?
Yes, we have a timer on.
Thank you.
I've already been asked that. So, as a matter of fact, if you need to know, oh, hey, there's a little thing on the map I got to get rid of here. Hold on. Let me get, I'm still here. Click. Okay. As a matter of fact, if you're wondering, now that I'm getting asked about this, how much time do we have the timer? We have 6 minutes left.
Thank you.
So in 6 minutes, you end up traveling until it's nighttime. It becomes 9 p.m. or so. You find yourself very close to the fork in the road with Findletug. As you come upon the fork, there's a way to the left, there's a way to the right. And looks like there's a couple of pretty common camping spots here that have been used before. Some open grassy areas with some nice stone rings in them that you can use if you wish. Do you guys want to set up camp? Say yes.
Yes.
Okay, so you set up camp. Do you want to set watches for
Oh,
the
yeah.
night?
Oh,
Well,
gosh, yes.
The first thing
Multiple.
yes,
We
I
would
would
like to set up paired watches.
Oh,
Paired watches.
That's smart, considering we know already that,
Okay.
yes,
We got burgled by
tendency
pukas.
to.
You got burgled by pukas.
Oh, yay.
So let's have a look at what Mr. Raven. What is this you're speaking about, Raven?
Well, I've been working on a wand of alarm that I wish to use for our evening. And basically, I think it's a 20-foot diameter that I can have as an alarm spot. So if anything crosses over that, it will trigger. In this case, we'll make it an audible alarm to wake us.
There we go.
Very cool. Very awesome.
Much better than
We'll be
cans
doing
on
that every
string.
night. So
Could you
Okay.
show us your wonderful wand carrier?
sure. So Thaddeus
You wanna show
Poindexter gifted me with this.
And he made it.
He did.
See if we can
He's
get
a
it in
very
camera.
handy
Look at that.
guy.
Look at that. You got wands in
That's
there.
freaking awesome.
We know
So
what
great.
we know what Raven's getting for Christmas now. Every Christmas for the rest of his life is
That's
another
right.
wand from each of us,
Yes.
kind of thing.
I starting a collection. It's like Pokemon.
Except it's one. Come on. All right. Are you still setting watches, or are you going to rely on your circle?
Oh, we're setting
of
single
alarm.
watches. I think
Single
we can
watches?
Rely on that now that we've
You
got
need
a wand.
3. I need an evening one,
We still
a
should
night
do
one,
paired
and an early
together.
morning one.
Okay.
So what do you think?
Yeah.
I will join somebody, whoever needs a second.
Girl power, want to hang
Okay.
out? Have a girl talk for
All right,
a
who's
couple
taking
Y'all
first
pick.
one?
I'll
Shall
be
we do the
first.
first? Or
Or
Yeah.
you first.
Thaddeus wants the last one
This is
because
the
he's an
problem.
early morning guy.
I'm
Okay.
early morning guy.
I'll be
anyway.
first.
we'll be second.
Okay.
We'll
So-
be near. We're Lavinia and I are middle.
Okay.
I'm going to stay up whittling a figure of the guard because he was really cool and looked very strong. So I'm whittling to make a little
That's a cool
little
idea.
sculpture
Yeah.
of him
It's a memoir.
as a memoir of the guard who was really kind to us and gave us the food.
Alvadu.
And if we Alvadu and if we meet him again, I will give it to him as a gift.
That's great.
Okay.
I've heard that name before.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to talk about that.
No, yeah.
I know somebody named Alvadu. That's why I named this guy Alvadu.
Okay.
It's not me forgetting it incorrectly.
So, the rest of you are bedding down. Other
Yep.
things that you need to do this evening before you are done.
Yes.
And I'm to roll for.
I want to learn 3 scrolls, level
Okay.
3. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll just do it. Do you want me to do anything? Okay,
You're good
cool.
to do it. Go ahead and roll
Did-
for your watch.
Do you need any information from me to be able to do the scrolls that I was asking you about?
I can start crafting scroll for you,
Okay.
and you have to tell me which level of scroll it is,
Okay.
and then you have to give me money because I just spent it all learning these spells.
That's exciting.
Yes.
When I get
Plus
there.
a commission.
Oh, I rolled an 18.
Okay.
So
Nothing
I think we're
happens on
good.
your watch. Okay. Lavinia, who's rolling for you and
Oh, I have to.
Oh yes.
To roll the new
Show everyone
die.
your dice.
This is the one that I gave her. That's.
Oh, hold on. Let me
Christmas
Let me
present.
switch to Lavinia so you can show. Oh, there's Lavinia's new die.
Not as
Not
big as,
cool.
not as big as Dave's, but,
Lavinia doesn't see her dice so well. So the big. How do we have?
Here, get your dice tray. Roll it in there.
There we go.
Isn't this a lovely dice tray?
Yes.
All right. What do you got?
Okay, put it down.
Okay,
roll
one. Okay, 14.
again. Okay, it's settled at 14.
You can't exactly shake it. You kind of.
She's like, yeah.
You could do that. You could put it in the tray, shake the tray back and forth, and whatever it settles on, that would be okay too.
All right, well, do you
But
want
you said
Kind of what
14.
you
I
did
said 14.
inadvertently.
Fine. Okay. So 14. Oh, and there's our timer going off. Is Josephine awake with you at this time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. In the middle of the night, about two in the morning, you off in the trees, you hear a small band. Josephine can hear them. Lavinia not so much, but you can hear small voices talking as they're walking, and it appears to be a little troop of gnomes. And as they're going along, they're talking in Gnomish, which you don't understand that language, but they're clearly arguing about something.
There's no place like Nome.
Once they get closer to you, all of a sudden one of them cuts in on the other, and they all go and they all quiet down quite a bit. You can hear them going through the trees just out of sight of the road as they head north towards Elphame. They do not engage with you, but they were arguing about something.
How big are gnomes?
Gnomes are about 2.5 feet high.
Okay.
With or
So-
without the hat.
Without the hat.
Without the hat.
They're 3 feet high with the hat.
So
Maybe even a little
bear
more.
snacks.
Yes, they would be bear snacks. That's true.
Don't eat the nose.
And
I think bear's pretty good at staying away from like people like who walk upright.
and there are
as
several
far
different
as
types of
eating
gnomes.
goes.
Most of the time, they tend to identify based on the hat that they like to wear and the color of their beards. So there are blueies and there are blackies and stuff like that.
Huh.
And brownies. There are 3 main types: blueies, blackies, and brownies.
So they shushed and kept on their way.
And you don't know which kind they are.
Did we detect approximately how many they were?
There's certainly at least 3, maybe up to 6.
Okay.
Okay.
Good to know.
The bell has rung.
The bell has rung, so we are going to take our break here, ladies and gentle peoples.
Have some homemade guacamole
check
and
out
keto chippies.
And for those of you that are watching live, we are going to be back. It is 7:57, so right on 8 o'clock. We're going to be back at 8:15. So that's when we'll try and be live again. For those of you watching the recording, you can just skip this next break part and jump right to it if you're watching it on YouTube or Twitch. And if I ever get around to chopping these up into episodes, this will be the episode about Elphame, and the episode after this is the one that you want to jump to next. So everybody say thanks very much.
Thank you.
And we will see all of you in a few minutes. Have a good day. And we are going to go to Nope. And we are back. Hello. My name is Dave Wildson. This is the Wylders game. This is our second session tonight. We did a earlier game and took a 15-minute break, and we are back. We're going to go around the room, say a real quick hi to everybody. Here are the Wylders, the players in our game. Hello, everybody. Say hello.
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 Here's Mr. Thaddeus. Hello, sir.
Hello.
He is
My name
our... Go ahead. You tell him.
My name is Ian Little, and I'm playing the role of Thaddeus Poindexter, a country doctor.
A country doctor, spelled R-O-G-U-E. And next, Jenny, go ahead, Josephine.
My name is Josephine Smith. I am a gunslinger, sharpshooter,
Oh, and then she left.
mess with the Wylders, and you get the... Hold on.
Oh, here, I'll get rid of my head. Let me get my head out of the way. Where are they? What are they? Your guns? She had to get them out of her holsters.
I have a companion who is a direwolf. His name is Bear, and I love all of these rascallions to pieces and pieces, enough to pew pew you if you mess with them.
So there. Hello, Lavinia.
Well, hello. How are you?
Good. I'm good. How are you?
I am quite fine, thank you. My name is Janice. I play the role of Lavinia Rose, who is a healer and who will do anything to keep her family and her group protected. However, part of my reason for being involved with this is because my grandmother, her spirit has been cursed and trapped into this skull. So we're kind of on a bit of a revenge run in a way to try and get to Iago, the evil warlock, Iago, who put her spirit into the skull.
That's right. I think she's waiting for the payback.
I'm thinking.
Okay, let's move along to Mr. Redfeather. Hello, sir.
Percival Redfeather. I'm played by Robert Woodbury, and I am a tracker and master of the woods. I am also an excellent marksman with the bow. And don't mess with me because I turn into a weird tiger if I get too angry or too damaged.
Yes. And what about you, sir? Hello, Mr. Alexium.
Hello, I'm Raven Alexium. I am a wizard, and also I have a minor in alchemy.
So he does alchemist-y things. Now,
Your alchemisty things make great guacamole.
yes.
Yes.
So we just enjoyed some awesome guacamole homemade
Some holy
with some awesome homemade keto chips, and it was
And some
fantastic. And also Lavinia made a wonderful stew yesterday. We've all been really enjoying a beautiful beef stew. So that was all our snackies and stuff. It's hard for us a lot of times to get all of supper sorted out, especially myself. Rob's always driving to get here, as everybody else is too. So a lot of times we rely on break to try and grab some supperish kind of stuff. Okay, I want to talk about something else, and this is with Mr. Raven Alexium. Glenn, what is it that you do when we're not playing this game? What is it that you do?
I am a balloon artist.
A balloon artiste.
That's right. I make really strange things like giant costumes and large installations out of balloons.
And what did you do and I do, because I do it with you sometimes? What did we do last week?
We were at the Defreeze Festival, which is in Edmonton, runs on 118th Avenue, and our crew created 3 giant musical pigs as well as a giant musical wolf out of balloons as costumes.
All right, I have pictures. So we're going to try this, and we're going to see if we can do this. I'm going to show you guys some pictures that I just got up on Facebook of what we did last week. These pictures were taken by Wilfred Ulmer, who is one of our crew. So I want to do a big shout out to everybody in our crew. Here's Demi Dupree. She is working on something, and there's part of a piggy in the background, a saxophone that I made laying on the table. Let's have a look. Here's Glenn. He's making a piggy nose. That is literally what he's doing, is he's making a snout for one of the piggies right there. This is me using a balloon to wrap a piece of metal that is going to be the frame for a banjo. So you see the round part at the bottom, that's where the round balloons are going to be, and then there's the shaft for the part of the banjo, but I had to cover it in silver balloons first of all so that it looked okay with the structure, and you're going to see it in a little while. Here's us putting a piggy together. You can see the piggy snout. Here's Demi, here's Glenn, and lady in the back is Jeanette McNeil, another one of our wonderful balloon twisters, part of our crew here. Here is a bunch of us standing here. You can see standing behind Glenn is Wilfred. Standing beside Glenn is Sean Baptiste. This is his first time coming to help us out, and I'm holding a sax that I made for one of the piggies to hold. We initially had it on this piggy, but we moved it to a different piggy afterwards. That is the end of those pictures, but I got a couple more. Here are all of the finished characters.
Wow.
You see, we did a big bad wolf. We were ahead of schedule, so Glenn nailed the big bad wolf, and the big bad wolf is playing a set of bongos. This piggy's got the banjo that I made. This piggy's got saxophone, and this piggy's got an accordion that Glenn designed. That's a beautiful look. Now, this is after the festival that these photos were taken.
Right.
So these piggies have gone through, and this wolf have gone through like 3 days of abuse.
Not to mention the transport. That's at a Sobeys here in the city.
Yeah.
So those things are fairly beat up at this point.
They are beat up. You can tell by how crooked the sunglasses are on the red piggy now and stuff like that. They're in rougher shape than
They
they
still
were.
look amazing.
They look pretty
Way
good.
to go, guys.
They look pretty good. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I thought that I'd also posted. Did I post the one with the... I thought there was one with an accordion.
Well,
I missed it. Well, it doesn't matter. Back to the game. I just wanted to show you guys the kind of stuff we do. If you've seen some of our videos in the past, you'll have seen other things that we've done, projects that we do, because all of us are performers around the table mostly. Amanda is not a performer. She is more
tell,
of a
right?
normal person. She's not abnormal like
dare
the
you
rest
call
of
her
us.
You know,
Normie.
didn't we just have this conversation earlier
That's
about
a good
the
thing
fact
to
that
be
she
normal.
can talk to anybody about anything?
Well, she's got
she
her
is
world and her things that she
definitely-
does. She's a chat master.
I'm a muggle. I'm sorry. In real life, I'm a muggle.
Ian, what did you do this last week? Why don't you tell us what you did in the real world?
We've just finished our Christmas rush. We do live interactive murder mysteries.
Indeed. Did you play a character this last week?
Of course.
What character were you in your murder mystery?
Which mystery did we do? I was an English explorer who had discovered a tomb of an ancient mummy. Dr. Llewellyn Hyde-Pool.
See what I mean about abnormal? Now you completely
I've
understand.
spent most of my life wishing I was normal.
So
Never wish for that. Normal is so boring.
So that's his day job, is just playing all kinds of wacky characters, making costumes for them, all that stuff. For how many years have you been doing this now? How many years have you guys been doing the murder mysteries?
Well, I used to work for another company, and I
Yeah.
started there in 1987.
Oh man, so you're coming up on your 40-year anniversary, buddy.
Yep.
Wow.
Speaking of 40 years, I passed my 40-year anniversary for twisting balloons.
Oh, congratulations.
Well, it was 84 was when
So
I
that
started
means
out.
I passed mine for doing face painting.
And yes, you've passed yours for face painting. That's what Janice does. She is a face painter, a professional face painter, and that's how we met.
And children's artist.
And finally, last but not least, what about you, Mr. Woodbury? What do you do? Talk to the mic. We can't hear you
Oh,
otherwise.
sorry. I just hang out in malls and draw pictures of people. It's called caricature, and it is a refined art that has existed since Leonardo da Vinci. And I enjoy doing caricatures because it really allows me to interact with the people. I've been doing this since 1985, so this will be my 40th anniversary of doing caricatures. And when I first started, I had little pieces of paper, and I would take a pen and draw a circle and some glasses and a mustache and a scribble for hair. And that's all I could do. Now I can do an incredibly complex and very beautiful caricature, if I may say so, in less than 5 minutes for most people.
I can attest to this. I took the girls to K-Days, not this past summer, but the summer before, and asked Rob to draw us. And within, I swear, 2 minutes, he had the three of us, and with animated expressions and little things like the accessories that they were wearing and all the rest. Like, it just amazing. And just the speed and you
The accuracy.
you chit chat your way through it too. Like, you're a very very social with your customers while doing it.
Yeah, I try to be very genial with them.
Very special skill for sure.
I love it. It's the paramount of communication, because you're communicating verbally and visually with your customers and with your people. And there's sometimes they just spill their dreams on you and go, "Oh wow, I didn't think of that in forever. Can you draw me with a Vulcan in the background, or with Baby Yoda or something? Because I really love Baby Yoda, or I really love Pikachu, or and they tell you what they love." And you put it in the picture and you see their eyes light up. It is so magic. It's just a true form of magic.
When I'm doing face painting and then I hold the mirror up to the child, whether it's on their arm or whether it's on their face, watching their face come to life.
That's the real reward. That is the real reward of doing anything like this in business.
I was going to say, actually, we met, I'm going to guess it was 1992. At the Edmonton International Street Performance Festival. You were playing a character called The Artiste.
Yeah.
As I recall.
And back then, I had a little palette that had a clip on the top, and I had small pieces of paper. My pieces of paper went from this tiny little piece of paper to now I work with 11 by 17. And but it happened over a long period of time. Back then, I would wander around the venue, and I had pen in my hand, and I would have this stupid French accent. I should draw your picture, mademoiselle. Oh, for a moment, you are so beautiful. Blah, 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 blah.
And he was wearing a beret.
And I had the beret.
And you were the fastest. What did you were billed as like
Draw in the West.
fastest.
Fastest
You
route.
know what? I don't think I ever told you this, but I didn't like you. I was a balloon twister. Jan was there doing face painting and was a friend, just a friend. And I met The Artiste, and he was an okay guy, but there was something about him that rubbed me the wrong way. And here we are now. What is it now? 30 some years later, and we're buddies.
Just goes to
It
show.
just goes to show sometimes first impressions are not exactly right. Either that or, we both changed over the years. So
Yeah,
that
people
everything's
Well, yeah.
cool now.
grow up.
And I mean, when I
evolve.
was first on the scene, just like every other person out there, I was trying to prove myself.
Yeah.
So I was very brash,
Over the
very
top.
pushy, over the top. Now I pick up the pen, I draw, I casually talk with people, and they sit there amazed at what I can do. So I no longer have to prove myself. I know I have the skills. So I'm confident in myself, and that shows. That comes across as a warmth. Something you can't figure out how to do unless you've just actually bludgeoned your way through life. The way we have.
Yeah, so there you go. So we've digressed and wandered off into our real lives, but we need to do that every once in a while because people don't know what we do and why we're here and how we met and all of those kinds of things. We are going to now go, unless there's anything else on that line. One thing I want to say actually is besides doing face painting, Jan has done lots of different things over her career, lots of different costume characters, and she's also done a lot besides face painting over the last 10 years of fortune telling, right? As Madame Lavinia doing fortunes. She's good at it.
My character beyond the show is quite different in that it's very family oriented, and as opposed to here I'm knocking off undead and doing that sort of things, but in a regular situation I do things like pumpkin fortunes.
That's
and
right.
things that are very
PC.
all ages.
Family friendly.
yeah, family friendly, but there's self-esteem lifting. And that's
Positive.
that's-
positivity.
Yeah, they're positive fortunes. So it's a lot of fun.
Anyways, I forgot to mention that before, but that was one of the other major things that you've been involved in. Is everybody good? Should we go back to our adventure?
Let's go.
Gonna catch up everybody real quick. The party have left Elphame, which is the major center for the elves. They are traveling south. They are trying to get to. Do I have? Yeah, I have my adventure screen. They are trying to get to the very southern border of the Feywood, so they camp just outside Findletug. And that's where we left off in the last game. I forgot the timer. Here we go. We're going to set a timer for 45 minutes. And
Before we go
questions.
any further, is there anybody who needs healing?
I don't think so.
You guys haven't done anything for so long. You're all fully
I'm
healed.
just double checking.
You're all fully healed and fully spell slotted. So you're all good to go. Okay. It is morning. There was one last shift, and that was early morning. Thaddeus was up being guard, and you were all within the alarm circle that was cast by Raven. So go ahead, Thaddeus, roll to see if something happens. Four. I thought he was going to say one. Thaddeus is famous for rolling ones.
Except for sitting over here. His rolls are much
Oh, that's
better.
right. Now he used to sit where Raven's sitting, and now Raven he inherited all his lousy rolls. Congratulations, Glenn.
There's ingenious loci.
We're going to just move on with you guys getting up. Anything you want to do in the morning, or stuff that you need to announce about things that you're crafting or stuff like that? You're going to pack up and head south.
Think we gotta go?
While I was on watch, I was target practice
Target practice
with both hands,
with your knives,
with my knives.
throwing them into like a stump hung on a tree or something.
Yep.
Okay, fine.
Yep.
And
But
while
The
particularly
trees
with
were
my left hand.
objecting.
Well, no, I put a backpack with some padding in it, and that's what I was aiming for.
Perfect.
while Lavinia and I stayed up on our watch and had girl talk, we talked about like how all of us smell atrocious except for Thaddeus, and what the heck is that?
Thaddeus, you don't smell atrocious?
He's the dapper fellow.
Oh, I
and all
see.
the rest of us are like
We're just
been
funky.
wandering in the wilderness for weeks and weeks on end.
Well, you know, the next stream you come across, you could all
I
jump
cast
in.
prestidigitation on myself.
That's right. That'll do it. Wizards can keep
With,
themselves clean
with the
that way.
wonderful sound of one of your wands, because,
That's right.
you know, I love the sounds of
Well, it wasn't a wand; it was a spell.
True, but the sound is good.
Oh yes, very
So-
masculine.
From Findletug, you have got 3 to 4 days travel, and we are going to roll the big die. Doo-doo-doo.
Love
Here
that
we
big
go.
die.
We're gonna roll the big die onto the table to see what it does. Do-do-ba-da-bum.
10.
10. Okay. You end up passing the entire 3.5 days with no events.
Ooh.
All right.
Well, actually, I've been making scrolls for
Okay, so whatever stuff over the 3.5 days, there's an important reason why we need to move that along. Otherwise, you guys are never going to get to the queen.
Yeah, sure. You have to tell me what scrolls you wanted.
No.
Okay, I didn't make any then.
So going back to the
I have to go
adventure
back
screen,
to the crafting to find out.
I'm going to move your little icon. I got to do it on the main screen, don't I? I'm going to move your little traveler's icon down to where you actually are. That is where you actually are. You are at the very edge of the Feywood, which is the edge of this particular map, right? That means, let's see. Yeah, it's the very edge of this particular map. That means we are going to switch maps, and I am going to switch you out. How come this, how do I get this map to close? Do I hit escape? Back to join screen. Oh my God, I just lost the connection doing that. Sometimes I really hate Foundry. You know that? Okay, you're at the boundary, and as you get to the boundary, I'm going to log in while I talk. As you get to the boundary, once again, you are confronted with another elven patrol.
What kind of elves are these?
They're clearly part of the host that maybe if I hit J. Okay, I hit J to
While
fix
you're
this
looking at that,
map.
Brother Silver says he's been painting minis for 30 years.
Really? That's cool.
Groovy.
I'm gonna go to the western map of Aerra, and I'm gonna zoom it in because here is the actual world map, and you guys, oh my God, I don't have it on here. You guys are very, very close. You're just north of this Celestia Vale portal. Do you remember?
Oh, I remember.
You went south and there was the burned area around the Celestia Vale portal.
Yeah.
You're just north of that by about 4 miles.
Not
All
have
right.
any PTSD. We'll be fine. We'll be
So
fine.
the weird and coincidental thing is if we'd just
if we
gone
just stayed there,
north,
yeah.
we would have met the queen.
You
No,
had
or
gone north,
maybe
you would have
south.
met the queen immediately.
Oh gosh.
Right?
At that point in time, she was still there.
Because the burned pixie village was south of that pinnacle,
yeah.
and the elven host was north of that pinnacle only by 2 or 3 miles. You were right literally on what had been the front lines.
And we went up back into the pinnacle and we went way north
Yeah.
to try and come back down.
And then we come back down
Mm-hmm.
to meet the objective that we could have met a lot sooner. So
Yes, you've
But-
gone around in a great big circle.
we didn't know what we know now. And we didn't have the tools and toys we have now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, we didn't get to go like kill people.
And we wouldn't have met Quilly's
And-
Quacksliver.
You didn't get to go to kill people.
Pirates. No.
Hanging out in the
we
salt-
did. We
salt-
killed pirates or whatever they were.
Salt marsh.
Yeah, salt marsh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I, in my lovely elfin tongue, say, "Greetings, my friends. We are on an important mission from the Queen, from Quilly's Quacksilver, to meet the Queen."
All right, so
And
you
I-
hand him the letter again.
The letter, yeah.
Okay, he opens the letter, has a quick look at it, and looks at you and says, "Come with us." All right, the entire patrol that is with him, they are quite grim-faced and quite wary, and they are very much on alert. You notice a big difference between them and the guards that you dealt with in Elphame. That difference is that they're all pretty heavily armored. They've got bows and swords, all of them, as well as a few of them have shields and spears.
I want to
And-
cast shield on myself.
Okay, all right.
Just saying.
Does that cost you a spell slot?
No, it's a cantrip.
It only works for like one turn in combat.
I just
So you need to be in combat, and it's a reflex, isn't it?
Raise shield's a reflex, but the cast shield's a one, or I think it's just a one spot.
it's a cantrip.
It's a cantrip, yeah, but it doesn't really do you any good unless
Probably
you're.
just 1 minute.
No, it's one round.
That's fine. As you can go ahead and cast on you. Well, it's a
just-
cantrip. You can do it all you want, just for fun.
There you go.
I just
Shield.
feel a little bit more secure with my shield on. Thank you.
The cleric was kind of insecure about these guys, facing these guys. As
Don't
you
blame her.
get to the Elvish host, finally, for the first time ever, you finally see the Fey Queen.
You feel
You
The
see the Fey
shimmering.
Queen as she is addressing some of her Elvish commanders. In the whole forested area around you, and you're just outside the Feywood now, because the patrol has actually escorted you through the barrier that is to the back of this entire army. There are encampments through the trees, as far as the eye can see, of elves everywhere. All kinds of encampments of elves. As you come up and you finally face the Fey Queen, her name is Alara, and she looks a lot more serious than the wedding picture you saw of her from several years ago. She has clearly been sobered by the events that have happened over the last years and the fighting that has gone on.
Okay.
There's as you look out from the commanders, this is the kind of thing you see. You can see that the army has got a hodgepodge of not just elves, but it looks like there are a number of other types of Fey with them, and even the occasional human is actually in this army. Where they've come from, you're not sure, but they are camped with the Elven army as well. So you get to see.
No, nobody else, unless we're watching the stream, we can't see it here.
You're right. Okay, so I will switch
Like
this
I can see it, but
like so.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So this is one other shot you see of the Elvish army. This is more like the Foreign Legion part of the Elvish army, I suppose you could say.
Yeah.
But there are some humans that are with them already. Clearly, probably people that have lost someone to the soldiering dead at some point, and then this is where they have come to try and fight. So now that you are finally face to face with Queen Alara, she looks at you expectantly. The commander goes up to her, hands her the letter that you have given. That's from
Brilliant.
Quilius. She looks at it, reads it briefly, puts it away, and it's pretty clear from her expression that she was not only expecting the letter, but expecting you as well.
Fair Alara, we come on a mission of most importance to the land, to the peoples, and we also bear, well, not really a gift, but we bear the remains of a fairy friend,
The pixie.
pixie
I
friend.
forget her name. Oh my gosh, this is so bad.
What was the name of her pixie? Let's go look in the journal. Let's look in the
Joyce,
journal.
that was her name.
Her name was not Joyce. He's being facetious.
It was not Joyce.
It was many months ago that you guys encountered the pixie. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go to the adventure screen and we will frickin' find out. It's got to be in here someplace,
Joyce
right?
the Pixie.
Plus, we have
Emerald
letters.
Isle, Venice, Feywood notes. What about in your party journal? Did we write anything in the party journal about it?
Yes, it was in there somewhere because I remember seeing the name.
I just lost everything.
It was before Salt Shore. It was Celestia's Vale.
Yeah.
You found the burned Pixie Village. And let's see what it says. Neluthel.
No, that was
After
no, you
defeating the soldiering
How did
dead,
we not remember that?
the Wylders free the prisoner Pixie and attempt to minister to her and talk with her. Well, I mean, we did this before last summer, right?
Yeah.
She says her name is Neluthel, but she soon falls unconscious from her wounds.
Yeah.
And you guys did everything that you could possibly think of to try and nurse her back to health. But it didn't work out because she was terminal with the undead disease that was going to turn her into one of the undead at night, on midnight after she passed away, right?
Yeah. And so we were forced to.
So after she passed away, you ministered to her until she passed away.
Who has the box? Is it in our bag of holding?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
Let's
so
get it out.
I'll pull the box out of the bag of holding, and Neluthel's belongings, which she giezed us with presenting to you. Said these were most important, and there was a message contained in the mirror somehow.
So you hand her the box of belongings. She opens it up and pulls out the mirror, looking at you, saying thank you, because she expected this. She has been expecting you all along. And she is glad that you had a chance to meet Quilius. And she asks you to come with her to her own tent. It's kind of a pavilion that the soldiers have set up for her, a private place. She wants you to privately come in with her. A couple of her commanders and guards come with her as well.
Should we give the letters to the queen?
You hand her the letters that you got from the guard at Elphame,
Yes.
and she hands those to one of her commanders, who then takes the letter and the bundle of letters to distribute them, right? And she says, "Come with me." As you go in, she leaves you standing while she sits at a very ornate elven table that is basically her desk, right? And she's got the mirror. She lays the mirror on the table in front of her, reaches into a pouch that she's got underneath her robes, brings out a little bit of dust, sprinkles it on the mirror, and all of a sudden this golden glow comes and spins up, and an image appears on the mirror. There is no sound, only images. Kind of like a camera picture, I suppose you could say, except that it is a living, moving image. It doesn't continue on like a video would. It seems to be just a living, moving image, kind of like the kind you see in the Harry Potter movies, you know.
Okay.
Okay. And
Just as one little
GIF
loop
hologram.
of something moving.
and the first, yes, it's like a GIF. The first image that you see in the thing, she beckons you to come and look as well. As she looks down into the image, the first image that you see is this one.
Ooh.
As she looks down at the image, you can see sorrow in her face. She looks up at all of you and she says, "Do you know who this is?" Standing in front of the soldiering dead.
That's my father, isn't it?
She nods. She says, "Yes. That has been one of my right-hand men, my commander for so many decades, Leoris Swiftkin. Now he has fallen, and this is what has become of him." And he is standing, and he is apparently in command of this regiment of the soldiering dead. She says, "But the question is why?" She waves her hand over the mirror. As she waves her hand over the mirror again, there's a slight glow, and a second image appears. And the second image is a picture of a boat on a river.
Looks like it's got some mechanical abilities to it.
Got some kind of a
Steam.
stack or steam or something on it, right? That's only because I couldn't get them not to do that shit when I'm talking to
okay.
AI. So ignore the stack. That thing is being driven by magical ability or by oars or by pulling it with other boats.
And it looks like a full complement of passengers, although we
Lots
can't
of
make out what
soldiers.
they are.
So this isn't exactly the perfect, but this is as close as I could get as far as an AI image that I needed to generate for this.
And they're water skiing.
I was gonna say yes. Like they're having fun on the adventure.
She waves her hand over the mirror again, and as she waves her hand over the mirror again, another image appears. And it appears to be the cargo hold on the inside of the ship, being guarded
Ships, yeah.
by some of the soldiering dead.
Look at all those big
And there is
D20s they have.
a huge, you immediately, all of you recognize that in these chests are airlight gems. And there's the biggest chest has got a huge cluster, the largest one you have ever seen, sitting there with a bunch of smaller clusters around it. The other thing about the cargo hold is that there, all along the walls, there appear to be weapons. If this picture was the way I'd want it to be, there'd be crates of weapons as well. So this is what is in the hold of this boat that is traveling on the river is 4 chests of gems and a whole bunch of weapons, crates of weapons, guarded by the soldiering dead. She waves her hand across the mirror one more time, and you see a picture of the soldiering dead. In this case, you don't recognize who is making the deal. It's not Leoris. Leoris is not here with them.
Okay.
But and it is not his uncle because he has got a hand on his right hand that he's shaking. It is a human that is in league with the soldiering dead. And he is apparently making a deal with lizard folk. You recognize these lizard folk from the picture as soon as you see them as the same kind of lizard folk that you fought, the serpent folk that you fought
Our first
at the
date.
one of the very first sessions we ever played. They're called the Unkta, serpent folk, and they occupy the territory around the Great Lakes, and they had a small outpost to the southwest where you ran into them at those fountains. And apparently the soldiering dead are trying to confirm some kind of agreement with the Unkta, which is why they've got a human brokering between them and shaking hands.
So we've got live humans not getting mauled by the soldiering dead, not getting mauled by the lizard people. So they must be very influential and probably pretty evil.
So apparently there are evil living that are commanding the soldiering dead. Some of them. I mean, Iago himself is alive, as are his 2 daughters. The commander of the soldiering dead may be the undead the undead commander Jensen Poindexter, but apparently he is not here. One of his underlings is actually a living human who has been sent with these. So
He got to do it himself. He's sending a minion.
now, as all of these images go across the mirror, you see Alara, the Elven Queen's face, get grimmer and grimmer and quite alarmed. Finally, she waves her hand one more time over the mirror, And as she does, you see what is the final image in the mirror that shows, and it is an image of a bunch of the lizard people, apparently an army of them, moving along with some, you can't tell if they're living or dead humans, but they're clearly part of the soldiering dead, carrying muskets, other types of weapons. And apparently it is a military alliance.
They joined forces.
So Alara looks at you and simply asks the question, do any of you understand? I'm going to, hold on, I'm going to just do this to make things a little easier for you guys. There, is it in the right thing? Okay. She goes back and she once again waves her hand and lets you review as she goes through all of the images and says to you, do any of you understand what the message these images convey might be?
Yes.
The end of your world as you know it.
An alliance is
Alliances.
to be formed between the soldering dead and the lizard people,
Mhm.
and we need to prevent that from happening somehow.
Absolutely, we do.
Sorry, is this future or have these already happened?
We don't know.
I'm going to guess that that big convoy that is in the ship full of all those
Probably on
valuables,
its way.
well, it's probably a way to pay for the alliance.
Could be. And
Would
if
be my
we
guess.
sabotage that convoy, it might just cut it off at the neck.
Or at least delay it.
Does anyone remember our Phoenix?
Yeah.
Was there some way to? Oh gosh, no. We would have to go back to the plains and get the plains people to help us.
Right. 'Cause
You meant the
planes-
Thunderbird.
Yeah, Thunderbird.
That was the Anansi or whoever they were.
That's who
They summoned it.
pinned off
Yes.
all the
Yeah.
serpent people for
Yeah,
us.
yeah. And if we allied with them, but that's
So much travel.
if
and
we could prevent the conflict from occurring by a couple of very discrete actions now, we wouldn't need to worry about it.
Well, we'd still need to
Well,
worry
can
about
I
it.
put forth an idea?
Okay, you can.
Since I have my beautiful crystal ball,
Philanther, yeah.
as you can see, isn't it lovely? I can contact Quilius, who can contact whoever it is that is closest to them, if there is somebody who is close to them, to try and pass the message on, to try and get them to come to
SOS,
us.
Mayday. Yes.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, very good idea.
Okay, so Alara listens to all of you discuss what you think might be going on here. And then she says, here's what I think. Clearly, this is an initiative by Leoris.
Yeah.
Who is being compelled by Yago.
Yeah.
And this mission is to take a treasure up the river. Do you recognize this river? She says there's only one river big enough that you could travel. The river shown here, my guess is the Picatanu River. I think that's the name of it, Picatanu River. It is the river that travels from the Blood Coast north just to the west side of Cahokia up into the Plains of the Fallen. That is the waterway that goes closest to the Unkta peoples up in the Great Lakes. This boat must be traveling up that river. At some point it will have to come to shore, and they will have to go overland for the very last leg to meet the Unkta serpent people, which you've already, as we talked about, fought in one of our very first games. She says, however, this clearly shows that this is the gift being given to the Unkta serpent people. This is clearly an image of the parley, and these are pictures of not what has been, but what may be. And what will be, unless something changes the courses of these events. the Unkta will agree to send an army southward. My guess, she says, the queen says, my guess is that they will attack the north of the Feywood as the soldiering dead attack the south of the Feywood. They will invade, and if they can break through the barrier, the entire Feywood will be ravaged, and the World Tree might even be at peril. She says, however, pay close attention to the very last picture. The trees in this picture have had their leaves turn.
And they're not burned.
And right now, while these are northern trees, these are birch trees. So clearly they are trees from the northern area, not far from the Unkta peoples. Birch trees grow in that area.
Yeah.
And there are no birch trees like this in the Feywood. So this is an image that is north of the Feywood somewhere. It is a full moon, or almost full moon. And since the leaves have turned and they are golden like this is a picture of autumn, probably this coming autumn. Today is September 25th, I think, or 26th. The leaves have not turned yet. They will not turn for another 2 to 3 to 4 weeks. Which means that we have time, but almost no time. So, two things have to happen. My initial plan, when I foresaw that you were coming, was that I would ask you to go north again to the Orc peoples, the Orc war chiefs, to make an alliance with them and convince them to come to aid us in this fight. And with their might, we could probably finish Yago. If we had them come and we had the merfolk of Biminus come as well, we would have enough might to be able to finish Yago. This completely changes things now. Now that this is a possibility, and now that this expedition is going to be underway, if it is not already underway up the river as it is. And at this point, she rolls out the big map for you, the one that everyone is familiar with. She has got a copy, a version of this. She talks to you about the river, and here it is. You can see from Orem Cadis, the name of the town that is the base of operations for Yago, Santiago, is called Chapatula. It used to be a trading town right on the coast, or just inland in a bay of the coast, with its own population very similar to the peoples of Cahokia, the native peoples of Cahokia. And the two would trade back and forth because, as you can see, there is a branch of the river called the Pecatanu that travels directly from Chapatula up to Cahokia. Now, Alara thinks that this is going to be the waterway that the gold, the gem shipment and the envoy to the Unkta travels. It will. She believes it will come up. It will pass to the east of the rendezvous right here. And then it will take this left-hand fork up into a slightly smaller waterway, travel up into the southern part of the Plains of the Fallen until it is past Cahokia, and somewhere in this area it will dock, and they will travel overland up into the Unkta territory for the meeting. She says, so I have a new mission for you. We are right here now, where it shows this. If they have not left already, you are going to need to get yourselves from here to the Pecatanu River by the shortest route possible.
The pinnacle at Celestial's Vale.
What I was
you
thinking.
will need
But we
to
don't have them charted. The destinations are not
Exactly.
charted.
Can't you read, like, weren't they labeled? And
He used his
Oh,
hourglass to read them, but those are almost cryptic in some ways. They are almost poetic.
So Alara listening to you says, here's the problem that you have. Between where we are right now in the Pecatanu River, there are no other portals. This is strictly an overhand. There's the only way is two ways: skyship, which we do not have, or overland. So you're going to have to make it overland. Now, if you are behind the gem shipment in the boat, we'll call it the gem boat for now, or the envoy and the gems in the boat, in the ship. If you're behind the ship, you're going to have to follow up the Picatano in whatever boat you can find to catch up to them. Remember, you are going against the stream, but it is a very, very slow current. Okay. It is not that hard to move up this because it's a very wide river. You will have to follow them. Here's what you need to do. You need to get to that boat and sink it. Because if you don't sink it while it is still on the river, by the time that it docks north of Cahokia, somewhere along this stretch of the secondary river, you are going to have a much more difficult time, considering the number of soldiers that are guarding it. You're going to have a much more difficult time stopping it from reaching the Uncta. Cahokia is mainly a trade town. You cannot count on them for any military assistance.
Do we have the ability to use fire? And I'm sorry, you had your hand up.
I sure did. Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right, so we'll go with Josephine first. Josephine asks,
Do you have horses?
the elves. She looks at you in surprise and says, we normally don't have any need for horses in the Fae, but I might be able to come up with something. You're going to have to give me a day to put this together.
It would just
And you see
enable
a
us to
twinkle in
go
her eye.
a lot faster.
Oh, I think that's a mischievous thought.
She looks at you and says, we do not have horses, but I might have something else.
I have another question. Seeing as her father is connected with the that squad or that troop or that whatever they're called, that group of the
Soldiering dead. Yep.
Am I wrong to think that she might have some power to intercede, or is that long past?
I'm sure that's long past, personally. But
Leora looks at you, Ilara looks at you sadly and says, Leoris is lost to us now. My only hope is that you can eventually give him the rest that he needs and free him from the undead shackles that compel him to do everything that he is doing now, including betraying his own people.
Including betraying his own people.
So, yes, to Lavinia.
I understand that we are not able to use fire in the Fae area. If we are attempting to sink the boat and it requires the use of I'm sorry?
We're outside of it now.
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, the river would be outside of Feywood.
Yeah. Okay. Just confirming that. And so firepower is okay then.
On the table.
As a matter of fact, it's pretty obvious that the camp that you're in has got campfires all over the place.
Okay.
Because you are outside the Feywood now.
And we have a secret weapon.
And you have a secret weapon.
Somebody who can swim up to a boat and put a charge on the underside.
And not only
Nosy.
that, we have an alliance thanks to our
Actually, yeah,
swimmer,
it's not bad.
and we have a crystal ball.
Wonder how quickly they
Who
could get up
could-
the river with the whale. Or if they could.
Oh my gosh! Yes, bring the whale.
Bring the whale.
A freshwater whale.
So Alara says,
I think a whale would be too big.
I don't think that you're going to find much access from the ocean to
Okay.
the Pecatano River. And the reason being is because if you look at
Right.
the map,
Distance
the
is
problem
great.
is
Not only that, it
the
goes
ocean
right through
distance
the-
isn't the problem. The problem is Chapulia actually straddles the Picatano River at this point, and Yaga will have the river closed off to the merfolk right at the mouth of the bay. It will be heavily armed and fortified. There is no
And
way.
there's no other connection to that river from the other.
Now, if the merfolk are going to aid us, if the time comes that we can make it down to Orum Cadis and we can attack Chapatula, we can attack from the northeast through the marshes just past Mobila here. But the merfolk will be attacking from the beach,
Right.
from the ocean to the southeast or the south.
So a pincher attack.
So that is still doable if you are able to stop that ship from arriving at its destination.
Right.
Now, I can provide you with some land transportation to get there. I am counting on you as a small group to move very fast and to be unseen when you get there. This is a sabotage mission.
Yeah.
There's no way to take that boat by force if it's got a full company of armed undead guards. And who knows what other little ships it's got around it as well. But if you can take it by subterfuge, you have a wizard who has the ability to make alchemist bombs and things like that.
Yeah.
You have a rogue who has got the ability to swim very quickly and stay underwater and help you hopefully adhere whatever alchemist contraption you make to the hull of the ship.
Yep.
And the rest of you are there for support, divination, and everything
we can
else that
create a
goes along
sphere
with
of
it.
invisibility when we get too close, to some extent. Hopefully.
So probably all of your skills are going to be needed
Yep.
to make this mission a success.
Yep.
I don't know how long you have to do this, but I would say it's probably not more than 3.5 weeks. So you're going to have to leave immediately in the morning
Yeah.
to embark on this mission.
Okay.
You have to find that boat, you have to sink that boat, and if you perish in doing so, you still will have saved the Feywood, which may be small comfort to you, but it is a great comfort to us.
Silly question. So she may be able to get us some ground transportation, but when we get to the river, we're either going to have to quickly build a raft or find a local craft that is in bad condition and fix it,
Yes.
or purchase something with wheels that can go in the water, and we could drag it along, like the old homesteading carts, the old homesteading wagons. They were like ships of the land. They could go in the water, and then they could go up the other side and they'd pull them out.
In hearing this from you, Alara thinks for a moment, and she says, I could have my elven smiths and carpenters fashion you a craft
A folding boat.
with wheels. Yeah, from our old game. Craft you a vessel with wheels. The problem is, for you to take that wagon overland is going to cut your speed in half or less
We need to get
compared to being
Multiply it as opposed to.
on mounts.
Yeah.
If you're on mounts, you're going to be able to move as fast as you can on land because we don't have any way for you to fly in a skyship. So mounts are going to be your fastest way across, and I can provide mounts that are very fast. I could provide you with a couple of additional mounts, more than that, 3 or 4 additional mounts to carry some supplies
Okay.
You would have to knock up the vessel yourself when you get there, though, unless you can find other transportation.
I can throw together a canvas and spar canoe. That is part of my people's tradition, making canoes. So they can be made out of a canvas or any kind of stretched fabric over ribs that you would stretch.
We do
onto.
have, 2 large tents.
Yeah. So if we stretch
have
that, and
canvas.
then you just brush it all down with pitch, and that's just boiled tree sap.
How long
So-
does that take, though?
It would take, if I had help and the spars were pre-cut, let's say we took the supplies from the elves and they had some spars. and
Ribs, you mean ribs for
ribs,
the...
the ribs. Then we could probably knock it together in a day.
Okay.
So Laura thinks about this and she says, that is like a Voyager canoe. In this case, a larger one because it's a 5-person canoe. That is a workable solution. We can provide you not only with the canvas for it, you will not have to use your own tents. We have plenty of canvas. We can provide you with canvas, and not only that, but we can provide you with light beam. Our light beam smiths can make, do you remember what light beam is?
Yeah,
Light beam
it's
is
that
the very
lighter wood.
light wood. It is very fragile around fires. Keep in mind, it's another reason why there's no fire in the Feywood.
Yeah.
But we can provide you with those materials, crudely cut, but usable nevertheless, for you to assemble once you get to the river, and you could make a Voyager canoe.
Yeah. Because my friend has one in his backyard right now, and it's all ribs and bent sticks. Essentially, all of the ribs the thick ribs are bent this way, and then the thin ribs go end to end, and then you stretch
There's
the
a
canvas
keel
over it,
and a
Yeah.
couple of other supporting thin ribs.
and then you just stretch the canvas over it. And in his case, he just painted it with epoxy, and
Since we have an opportunity to have a sleep before we are going, would my mending spell be of any use to this process?
Your mending spell will only fix things that are broken, and those things need to be in a box 3 feet by 3 feet in size.
Okay,
I'm going to
thank you.
guess, roughly.
All right, it was
And if I'm wrong about that, we'll amend it later when I look at the mending spell. But roughly, that's usually what it's used for, is fixing something.
I think in this case we're making something.
Yeah, like we're resting, we're making sure that we've got some food, and we are hopefully going to be able to find mounts. I mean, I have bear, but not everyone can ride bear.
She had a quirky grin on her face. I have this feeling the mouth.
I know we're going to be riding stags or
There's
something like
something,
that.
yeah.
I know.
Okay.
Unicorn's beautiful.
I have a question for the Fey Queen.
Yes.
Are there any alchemists in your entourage that can teach me some more aggressive, explosive opportunities?
She gets a faraway look and she says, not amongst my own troops, but I think there's a good chance that there may be someone amongst our foreign legion of allies that's here. It's only a small group of a few hundred humans and other races that have come to join us in our cause, but there are some casters, wizards of, or magic users of small repute that are among them, and there may be somebody that knows something.
We should probably visit tonight while making preparations, gathering supplies.
Yeah.
Raven can visit this contact.
Yeah, and then I can discuss with whoever I'm sourcing the supplies. We need sinew, we need the ribs, and then we need the canvas, and then whatever we're brushing it all down with.
She also suggests that understanding that Lavinia can now speak with Quilius,
Okay.
that you get Quilius's advice on whatever this device is that Raven is going to need to fashion.
Okay.
And you've got tonight to do all of that, to gather your materials and your preparations to try and leave in the morning, if it's possible for us to do it. She is says that she's very sorry that You're not going to have more time to spend here, and she's not going to have more time to spend with you at this time. She hopes that in the future, that you'll be able to make your way back, and that you will be able to discuss more of this. She especially hopes if you survive this, perhaps her original idea of a mission to the orcs in the north could be something you could help with.
If I may, my lady, our limited time with you has been a benison to our souls, our minds, and our spirits. And we thank you so much for the gift of your presence.
May I ask one more question? I'm so sorry.
Sure.
Does she know if Quilius would have communication with the indigenous peoples from the north? To be able
if there
to
were a wizard
forewarn?
appointed for them? Like,
yeah, or yeah.
Which
it's-
indigenous people are you talking about specifically? Are you talking
the
about
ones that we allied
Ganassi
with
or-
in our
Anasi.
Anasi,
the
thank you.
Anasi in the
Yeah.
desert?
Yes.
do they have a wizard?
Quilius does not have, as far as she knows, Quilius can see them, but does not have any communication with the Anasi. The other problem with the Anasi is that they have been a greatly diminished people by the attacks. So it is the remnants of the Anasi that now survive in the desert, in the deep desert, in the forest, under the protection of their Thunderbird god.
Right.
They need to make some babies.
As far as she knows, their numbers are so small that if they were to join us, they would be welcome. But you're only talking about at most a few hundred people, and she's worried that that would endanger the continuation
Right.
of their own culture
I was just thinking
if they were lost.
if they came down and we went up and somehow,
Alara says, pointing at the map and showing everyone again, that she believes that the only true forces with any might that can stand against Yago, that are willing to fight, that might be willing to fight in this, are going to be the merfolk of Biminus in this area, the elves of the Feywood, and a few of the Fey refugees, but not many of the Fey refugees, because they're a diminished people as well after being refugees to this part of the world from the eastern lands, and the orcs near the Eastwind ruin, because they are a very warlike people. They are a warrior culture based on honor. If the Unkta stay out of it, and the Unkta, being very inward people, would only bother to do something like this based on very lavish gifts. If the Unkta stay out of it, she believes the three forces are the only thing that can take on Yago and Chapulta. She believes the folks from the Oazim Desert are not strong enough. She says down in Aztlan, you may find that the folks of Aztlan certainly have the military might, but they have no reason. They are not at this point affected. They are far away. They have no reason to come up the coast or to cross the Gulf to be involved in this. Other than them,
and no help from Wildermage.
Wildermage is not interested in this fight at all.
Okay.
The Aesir are enemies.
Right.
The Vanir are neutral traders and not interested in this fight at all. So the only hope she has is the orcs of Eastwind Ruin, or beyond them, there are the Beautuk. But the Beautuk are far away in the north too. They have never even seen the Soldiering Dead. They have no reason to be involved in this fight either.
Dave,
Yeah.
there is a little tower in the land of the orc. And what tower is that?
That is a broken tower called the Eastwind Ruin.
Okay.
And it is an ancient tower that stood there long before the orcs occupied this land. The orcs don't know any of the history of it. They consider it to be perhaps a haunted place, so they distance themselves. They're inhabited all around
Sounds like
it,
a
but
perfect place for us.
they don't go
Is
near
there a
it very
flame on the
much.
top of it?
Is there a
That's what I'm
pinnacle?
wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it is a broken tower, and the top is collapsed in. It's about 5 stories high, made of stone. One side of the tower has collapsed, so it's 3 sides of the tower, and there's an outbuilding that is just deserted and has no roof as well. It is completely a ruin.
Our primary focus right now has to be to get to the river.
Getting to the river is first.
Yeah.
But, I mean, in the future, if we can enlist the assistance of the orcs, then we could take on Ormcadis. And we could get right down and start taking on
And we may have
some-
a few friends in Saltmarsh.
Yeah. I think we could recruit some assistance from them.
Maybe.
Well,
But that means us going back up north when
Well,
we need to be going the other way.
And we'd have to play political games with them because they seem to have a very
No,
much an
it's-
in-game going on,
It's
right?
going to be the 5 of us, and yeah.
Now, Laura tells you that based on her understanding of what is going on north of Saltmarsh, is that in the Uncta territories, there is some division. And there is a splinter faction in the eastern Uncta territories of serpent folk that have broken away from the Uncta. They've moved into the marshlands just on the coast, east of the Orcs and north of Saltshore. And they are a smaller band of serpent folk, but they have a very, very powerful god who leads them. They may be open to joining your side along with the orcs, but that is literally probably months
away.
down the road in
That's a couple of years away.
gameplay.
Is Alora able to send any
Emissaries?
companions, troops?
For
On this
mission?
you
Or
mean
is it just
envoys?
us? Yeah.
Envoys? Do you mean with you?
With
or
us, yeah, alongside.
Laura says in this
To
case
play
she's not going to send anybody but the 5 of you because she believes anybody else is not going to help with the sabotage.
Yeah.
It's got to be a covert mission.
Yeah.
She does not believe, other than avoiding any patrols of the soldiering dead that might be around, she does not believe you're going to run into much between here and the river. This is the northern edge. As far as she knows, from where you are located right now to the rendezvous, most of this northern marsh has not been infested by the soldiering dead. So she suggests that what you do is you travel along the edge of the marsh right here. See this area? She says this is the edge of the southern grasslands and the edge of the northern marshlands. Traveling through these marshlands, you're going to run into bogs and things like that, but if you stay right to this edge, you should be able to get to the Pekatanu the fastest.
Are there any creatures or anything that we should be watching out for in that area?
The only thing that she says, you've got the possibility of running into a roving patrol of soldiering dead. As far as she knows, nothing else, because usually it is a safe trip to the rendezvous from where they are.
Yeah.
And she says speed is of the essence.
It is.
You want to be able to, by her estimation, this is going to be roughly a 7 to 10 day ride.
Yeah.
Hopefully only 7 days if your mounts hold up well, you have good weather, and the track that you take is good to you.
We can
No
do
injuries.
fishing.
Used up
Dead.
all our mammoth rides, haven't we?
Yeah, and it hasn't been a month.
Yeah.
You have no mammoth rides until I believe it's October 20th.
Yeah, we've got about 15 more days.
Right now, I'm going to say, as far as date, we were talking about the 22nd, the last time you were in camp. Am I right about that? In camp or at Quilius's?
I believe
It
so,
was
yeah.
September 22nd, correct? You've traveled 7 days since then, so it is September the 29th. The full moon in October is going to happen close to the end of the month. That means you have 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks.
And if it only takes us a week to travel there, even if we would take our time 10 days, then we can set up a camp, we can plan, we can make traps and plan the sabotage really well. And yeah,
The question is, how long would the negotiations take between the soldiering dead and the Uncta? If those negotiations take more than a week, does that mean that that ship is already on the river moving north?
Yeah.
Or does that mean that that ship is not departing for another few days or even another week? So you do not know until you get there
Yeah.
whether you have been ahead of it
Yeah.
or it has passed you. It will be very noticeable to anybody that is being on the river, because there will be no other ship like it ever seen passing north like that. However, you are going to have to find somebody who will be able to tell you whether or not the ship has passed, or you're going to have to see if Quilius maybe knows. And if you ask Quilius to keep an eye, especially on that area, or you scry it yourselves somehow.
I mean, he's got the ability to kind of hover over various different areas of the land with his
To scry and to watch.
to scry. So we could use Lavinia to request of him that he scry that area.
He may even be able to see where the ship is right now
Yeah.
and tell you the location.
Yeah. And if we could rely on that information, then that would be awesome.
So you are going to be, all of you needed, because the only way that you're going to be able to move fast and track to the right place is going to be with your rangers.
Yeah.
Then you're going to need your alchemist and wizard to fashion your bomb. You're going to need your rogue to plant the bomb. And you're going to need your cleric who's got a crystal ball to communicate with Quilius to know where the location of that ship is.
Not to mention the fact that there's going to have to, even if we sink the ship, there might be some cleanup necessary.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's, what is there, hundreds of
The soldier
ickies on there?
Yeah, yeah. So it's going to be you and me and a scrap shoot.
Well, Ilara gets a big concern on her face and says, look, you've got to remember that if that ship goes down, the undead that are on it are not going to perish just because
They're
they
just
end
gonna
up
be
in the
on
water.
Underwater.
So she says, I would strongly encourage you, get in, get out, and come back to me.
Okay.
Get in, get out, get away, and come back to me.
With the treasure.
Well, I don't think the treasure's going to happen. I think that's going to remain in the riverbed until other treasure seekers get it.
Okay, question though. If we sink the ship, do the gems sink? Because, I mean, they
They're floaty
float.
gems.
As long as the gems are contained within the cargo hold of the ship,
Yeah.
and they are in the chests, because remember, the bottoms of those chests will be lined with anchorite stone
yeah.
to keep them in place. As long as that remains the case, they will sink to the bottom of the river.
But here's the other thing. We could come back later and raid the river wreck that we'd made at some point if we really needed money.
There are two possibilities. If the soldiering dead are motivated to go after those things and bring them out of the ship, they could certainly do that. The other possibility is that yes, you have somebody who can dive and certainly retrieve some of that treasure
You'd have
for
to
you
fight
if you
you
wish.
undead to do it.
If they
Possibly
stay there.
underwater and so much as a scratch from them would be doomed. So
That's if they stay there, depending on what they choose to do, which we cannot foresee. So the treasure may stay there. You may have the opportunity to come back for it at another time, hopefully long after this war is over, or they may choose to recover the treasure for some other reason.
to continue the negotiations with the Yonta.
We're not going to make the treasure our priority. We're going to
No.
make sinking the ship our priority.
Sinking
Obviously.
the ship
we
into-
just
and-
we do want to, as Thaddeus has said, we want to prevent them from rescuing the treasure and continuing their mission.
That too.
But if we can also kill the leaders
Yeah,
of that won't be able to go and negotiate with the Yonta.
right.
Yes, because all you have are guards and a couple of envoys. If you can take the envoy out somehow, that would be worth doing. She says, okay, I need to issue some other commands, so we're going to need to wrap it up tonight because our alarm went off and we're done
20
playing
minutes
tonight.
ago, yeah, but we're like so into this.
Her final words to you are that in addition to sending you to try and sink this ship, she is also going to send messages to Cahokia to try and rally somebody there to try and intercept overland. If you are unable to complete your mission, they will try and either prevent the transport of the shipment overland once the ship docks, or if for some reason the soldiering dead retrieve the sunken treasure and work to try and continue moving up the riverside,
Yeah.
they will be there to intercept and stop it.
So there will be a
She's
fallback.
going to try other things to make sure that happens, but you are her best bet.
Yep.
Because as long as that ship is in the water, that is the point at which the treasure is the most vulnerable.
Okay. So, make it so.
Okay, and that's enough of our playing tonight.
Yes, that was so good.
riveting.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everybody, for watching us. and
Yes,
Yeah.
Being part of our community.
I did type and say hi, Peter, but we didn't say it out
Hi,
loud. Hey,
Pete.
Pete.
Hey, Pete.
Hey, Pete. Thanks for watching us.
Thanks, Sugar and Brother Silver, for watching.
Yes.
We love you guys so much.
All right, thanks very much. Talking about schedule for when we are going to play again, I'm going to guess that it is 3 weeks away. It may be 2 weeks away. That will depend on how things turn out for my upcoming stent surgery next week. So once I'm on the mend, we will play again and find out how your big sabotage mission goes.
Doo-doo-doo.
Dun-dun-dun.
So exciting.
All right, thanks very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Everybody have a great time.
Thanks for
And
joining us.
hopefully we'll see you in a couple of weeks.